Today we're going to talk about how to stop repeating the stories from our past. Now we all have pasts, some more troubled and emotional than others, but we can be damaged by them and we learn everything from them. We are where we are today because of our past and our choices that we made around it. So much of our past acts as a learning lesson, both good and bad. But there's a big part of our past that gets into our current story and keeps us limited. We tell ourselves things like we aren't good enough because someone told us that or made us feel that way once or twice, or unfortunately, maybe all the time. We tell ourselves that we aren't creative or smart or good enough because that's what we were told in school or worse, at home. We weren't pretty or successful or athletic or talented or coordinated or. Plainly, we weren't enough. Now, that isn't totally who we are now. The past can't be changed, but what we can change is the present. We can change our relationship with the past. We can change our story. So what story are you buying into? What are you retelling? Are you buying into any negative or downright untrue statements? Have you been held back by them? Like you're not smart enough to be successful, so why even try? We have all been limited by our past and our stories, and most of us retell that story time and time again in our minds. But what if you took a different approach? What if the minute you start with that pattern, you stop it and say something kind and positive to yourself instead? What if that internal voice comes up and starts to say, for example, that you're not smart enough or you're not likable enough? You just flip it around. I am smart enough to figure this out. I'm likable to my people and I will find more of them. I am enough to pursue what lights me up, and so on. A big way to shift this is by doing two things. One, write out a list of typical things that come up in your mind that are full of negativity and past stories. Draw a line down the middle of your page and write out the new story. So, for example, if you've got the story in your mind that you're not smart enough, then you write on the second side of the page that you are smart enough to figure it out. I'd like you to do this. Write this list out. Take a minute. You can pause the video to do it, but utilize this moment to take action about this because you were obviously interested enough to click on the video and watch it. So make sure that you actually spend the time doing this. So pause the video. Write out your list. Write out the things that you typically say over and over in your mind that aren't helping you, that are keeping you stuck, that are making you doubt yourself. And write the new thing that you're going to start saying to yourself when you catch your mind saying that. How'd you do? Good? Awesome. Now, I'd like you to put this list around your house, take a picture of it on your phone, put it by your computer, wherever you see it. And if you struggle with this a lot, put it everywhere. Put it on your mirror, put it on your closet, put it on your fridge, put it everywhere. Whatever is important to you, whatever the best place for you is, totally fine. Now, the second thing you can be doing is being diligent about catching yourself when that negative story comes up and wants to play that same story. You stop that habit in its tracks and you say the new story. Now, you don't even have to think about it because you already have your list written out. New habits are tough, especially the ones that we've had forever, and especially the ones that are silent, that nobody knows about because we only say them to ourselves. This takes time to get past, but once you start rewriting this new story, new things will happen. There are examples everywhere. You can look at some of the leaders in our world. Some of the best people came from a totally different past, but they moved past their story and they wrote a new story for themselves. They believed in themselves. They stopped saying those negative things to themselves. So, are you ready to write a new story for yourself? What kinds of things have you been repeating from your past that have been limiting you in your future? I'd love to hear, and I'd love to hear what your new response is. So make sure to leave me a comment below and like the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.